Okay, we are now live. Just let me go ahead and get things going. Just a sec. I guess the meeting notification did not populate. Just a sec, and I will be getting things started. We got a lot to cover this week, and it's also a short week, which can be good and can be bad, but we'll get into that. Okay. And there should be one. Okay. All right. There we go. Just wanted to make sure I sent that out. All right. By watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is only for educational purposes. There are significant financial risks associated with options trading, and I'm not liable for your wins or losses in the market if you decide to act on this information. Let's just hop right into things now. All right, so Friday, let's look. So Fridays, this is the top options flow from Friday and for the entire week. So for Friday, the top call options flow went into Meta Platforms, followed by Nvidia, Broadcom, TSM, and Palantir. On the short side, the put side, the most flow went into Microsoft, Gold, UNH, Amazon, and Apple. Now I want to just unpack that a little bit. The fact that we see a lot of flow. Now I figured that I already started adding to, sorry, one sec. One sec. You guys can't see the stream. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Okay. So as far as Meta, right? So I already started adding to my Meta position because just Meta was just so close to 600. I'm sorry. Yeah. So it's sold off so much. Hold on. Someone's just sending me messages. 1 second. I'm just trying to get this done right. All right. So yeah, like I was saying, we got it was a lot of selling in Meta last week, like almost $100 drop in the price of the stock. So to me, it was just a buying opportunity. Meta got very close to 500, may still get there, but it just felt like to me it was the time to start buying actual shares of the stock to add into that position. But anyhow, I brought that up because you can see on Friday the top call options flow went into Meta. That doesn't mean any specific. Hey guys, can you mute your lines when you get on, please? So that doesn't mean that when you see a lot of flow going into a specific option, it doesn't mean that it's a short-term thing. It doesn't mean that you should start buying it. You definitely should do more research on it. But yeah, so I see that, and I see a lot of flow going into Nvidia now. But what stood out to me the most on Friday was, you see, they started shorting gold, and then and UNH. So gold can be defensive, but it's something that when there's turmoil, people start buying gold. And healthcare is also defensive as well. So you got to think about things like this. If there's a war, a recession or pandemic, whatever, people are still going to, UNH, they're still going to need healthcare, right? And so that's what makes certain stocks defensive. But the fact that they're selling those now and they're Now, a lot, like I said, a lot of these tech stocks were oversold anyhow, so people were going to buy. We don't know when they bought them for, but just seeing that they're starting to sell gold, we may get a pop off of, just seeing stuff like that, just little early signals, and we don't know what expiry or whatever, how much time they put on that, just pointing it out. Now, for the week, the top call options flow went into TSM, AVGO, Palantir, Intel, Nvidia. On the short side, Microsoft, Tesla, MU, Amazon, and IBM. Okay, cool. Just going into that. All right, and this is our heat map for the entire week. So we got some good spots in here. Again, we got some good spots as well. We got some bad spots, but we got some good spots. You see Microsoft, they're still selling off Microsoft. I think one of the biggest reason they're selling off while Microsoft is being sold is because their AI, the main AI component that they have is that, what is it called? Shoot, it just left my mind. But anyway, the thing is, people feel like it should be free, and there are a lot of other applications that are free or a fraction of the price that these companies, and now companies are looking for ways to cut costs, not just they're downsizing and they're looking for ways to cut costs. So they're like, why are we paying for all of this extra stuff when we could do this? And then also, just a lot going on. But I told my team this for years though, when the whole market sells off, especially SPY or SPX, the SP 500, Microsoft gets hit the hardest a lot of the times if it isn't already oversold. So Microsoft is down 6.57%. We got Google down 8.38%. And so it's a lot going on. A lot of these stocks got hit hard last week. MU was down 15.5% after beating earnings and raising guidance. But I like I said before, a lot of that was priced in, and so coming down. But then of course you see some green over here. One of the sectors that I tell you all the time, consumer staples, is another defensive sector. Because, like I said, if there's a war pandemic or a recession, people are still going to go to Walmart. Walmart's up 3.2%. We got Coca-Cola's up 1.2%. Costco's up 1.9%. Pepsi's up. So you got different stocks that are still up. And, of course, oil and gas, stuff like that. We got the energy sector is up, and you see a lot of healthcare stocks are up. So these are just places you can look, and you can see a lot of others over there that are up as well, but that are green. People always make fun of or try to joke. Hold on, let me make these notes. But people joke about Jim Cramer a lot. Jim Cramer says there's always a bull market somewhere, right? So, and that just means that when everything is selling off, there's someone buying something somewhere, and that's a real thing, because people who have 401ks and stuff like that, most of those are managed by mutual funds, and they have and they get paid from expense ratios. But the thing is, they're looking for things to move your money into every single day or week, and I'm not saying I'm being a little dramatic with it, but not really. It's always every day or every week there's another place. So when you see your stocks or the market going down, there are other sectors that are actually going up, and sometimes that they want to move. They're moving that money around all the time and looking for ways to make money with your money, not just having it sit there. Otherwise, you could do that yourself. Look, Meta's down 11.44%. So the fact that that UNH is down has to be something specific when most of the other stocks in the sector are up, while Lilly's down too. So, but just making some notes, and we're gonna move on from here. And the banks got killed. Banks got killed. Look at Visa and JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. I mean, they're not down too bad because they were up earlier in the week. And there we go. Just a few things I wanted to make sure I cover. Got it. Cool. All right. So these are profits from last year. Every month we cover the profits, and again, our profits are based on net profits, and these are our wins and losses for every single month. We do them every year. It's almost like just a public ledger, and since these meetings are public, anybody can see them. You can also manually go to the public ledgers in the community and see how we're doing or whatever. But yeah, these are, just always tell people, these are net profits, so they include the wins and the losses, not just cherry picked and everything. So again, January profits, and we got February profits, and then now we're at March. We still have a few trading days left in March. Right now at this time we are at $2,900 for the month of March. Well, and you see this from the 2nd through the 27th. So on the 250 membership, that's 1172% ROI, and for the 175 membership, that's a 1675% ROI on your monthly subscription. Now, I will just point out one thing. We did take another trade after that MU loss, and because you see that's the last trade on here. It was a SPX trade. I put the team in there to kind of cover that particular trade. I did not include that in this because it wasn't a trade that I documented in the chat. It was just something we did on live, and it was only a few of us who joined that live. So I did not want to include that in the profit. So yeah, it's a lot of things that don't get included if it's not listed. If it wasn't something that we did as a team or that was documented, then I can't include it in the profits because it can't be audited. So yes, that's why it's not included. But yeah, we got a few more days left in this trading month. We actually got two more days, right? Yes, 31st in this month. So we got Monday and we got Tuesday to still close this month with more profits. So stay tuned. All right. So market talk. Now, I'm not going to, again, like I said, we're not going to be on here too long, so I'm not going to waste much of our time during market talk. So, but I do want to say congrats to the team though. Last week, what day of the week was it? It was Thursday. It was Thursday morning. It was like 80 degrees outside in the morning. So instead of trading with the team, I took my ball machine out and went to the tennis courts, and the market came down, but Meta was already bearish. And I will say, KK was talking to me the day before about Meta. She was like, yo, I just don't think Meta's done going down yet. So I don't think it's done going down yet. So, and she mentioned that, and so the next morning, Meta just started dropping. The stock just started going down, and it was just one of those situations where it was a violent move in the stock. This is before everything else started dropping. Meta had already started dropping before SPY and everything else, and she was in the chat and leading the team through it. And the thing is, because I'll have members who reach out to me and say things all the time. And I say, just post it in the chat, because if it's not in the chat, it never happened. I don't want to hear that you predicted that or you said something if you didn't post it in the chat, because there's a feeling it's a twofold. Number one, you get other people get to make money if it happens. And then you get the gratification and the feeling that you feel when, of how it feels when everybody eat because of a move that you saw and having that opportunity to walk it down. So yeah, so KK was in there, and then what happened after the first move, the first leg down of Meta, which was like about a $14 move down, Trump started speaking, and so then Juice came in, another one of our members, and said, well, Meta's right at that gap fill area, and it looked like it's about to lose that level and was about to go into the gap fill area. So when Meta lost this level here, I went down to a session hourly so you could see it. It went back up and retested VWAP, and then it flushed. That was like a $23 move down, filled the whole gap, and then there was some continuation, and the Meta just continued to move down. But yeah, they were in the team in the chat together and bouncing ideas off of each other, and a lot of people made money off of that wouldn't have made money. Now, when I looked in the chat, because again, I'm always watching Meta. So like I said, even though I was at the tennis courts, I looked at when I saw Meta starting to drop. By the time I looked in the chat, KK had already had it under control, and I saw it in Juice. They were all in there having, that collaboration that I love to see. So I wasn't going to jump in and ruin the party when they already had it under control. And I let the team do that. So this was I could have easily put the team in a trade. And KK can tell you, like around afternoon when I did finally talk to her and stuff like that. It was, this was when after Meta closed that gap or whatever. I said, oh yeah, Meta about to make another move down or whatever. But I could have easily just put the team in a trade or whatever. I didn't want to interfere with that at all. That would have been an easy few $1,000 trade that we could have gotten credit for as a team. So, but it's not about that. That we could have gotten credit for in our profits as a team, but it wasn't about that. It was more about that synergy and seeing how the team was collaborating. The moment that I would have stepped in there, that would have dissipated, and I let that live because that's what it's about. Just being able to see all of the people that was able to make money because they walked price down together. And that's the one thing. That's why I share everything that I know and try to teach the team how to fend for themselves, so they don't need me to trade and stuff like that. On one hand, wash the other is like you. And that was just and KK, she called me and she said something about how she felt about it. She probably can tell you more about it herself, how she felt about that, because I don't really want to speak for her, but it's I know it felt good to me to see how the team did that, and y'all put y'all heads together, and as Juice called it, the trade of the week. It was like $1,000 trades, thousands of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a good feeling. And I said it in the chat, like Antoine has always pushed me, like, yo, share your thoughts. Like, you talking to me, I know how to trade. Like, you don't gotta tell me anything. Tell the team. And not about anybody thinking anything. Let them, you have thoughts and share it with the team and y'all work together. So I think it was definitely very fulfilling for me. Like, identifying something before the market even opened, like, yo, y'all watch right here. If it lose this level, like, yeah. And it was like boom, and everything just started. And then we just all together walking it down, like, yeah, I'm up this, I'm up that. Like, it was definitely a good feeling. I want to definitely continue to share my thoughts, and I want everybody to do the same because, like Antoine said, he's taught us how to make money. Like, he's not here trying to gatekeep anything. He's put everything into the community. It's in the notes, it's in our ledgers, it's in our learning materials, our intro to options. It's everywhere in the community. You're able to learn all of these things to be able to make money. So I really love it. I appreciate being a part of our community. Shout out my girl Jazz, Big Jazz. Shout out Cachet, Dale, everybody who was Jason, everybody who was out that day. And I say the reason I said them first is because I feel like my girls, we always support each other. I love our energy. Like, we always like, yes, girl, thank you. Like, we support each other, and it makes me feel good. I know that. I always know, like, they're gonna be like, yeah, we on this, we in this together. So yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. Shout out to the women, like, yeah, because I will say that too, because just to make that clear, yeah, shout out to the women because, and a lot of times, we make jokes and stuff like that, but it's not even, it's nothing to give women their respect or whatever. And around here, I always give the women their respect because a lot of times they come out and they do what they're supposed to do and make a whole lot of money, and they do encourage each other. And I watch how they big each other up and congratulate each other. And that's really good to see. And it's just, keep that up, and everybody else, like I said, that was involved, it's not to speak on anybody or anything else. Let everybody do what they do. And again, just as long as even if you just ate off of the play or whatever, like, shout out to, when I didn't even know, I told KK that night, I said, damn, that was a really big move. And y'all hear what I just said. I didn't even, I didn't post any trades or whatever because I wanted y'all to. That was organic, and it was bigger than the trade. It was bigger than taking credit for a profit or something like that. So I didn't say anything, but I was like, damn, so nobody was in that trade. But then I saw after Jazz posted her contract, I saw that Kevin was in the trade, you know what I mean? So he killed that trade. But I didn't see it that night, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I saw that he was in the trade too, and that was good. Just to see, even if it was just one or two people that posted or whatever, it was just proof of concept that yeah. So everything that y'all did not go unnoticed, and that it was really helpful to the team as a whole. So that's what this is about, you know, just whatever you bring. If you got something to bring to the table, it may not be, you know, some people are shy, some people just like, you know, some people are like, look, I can't afford to cook, but I can bring some paper plates, or I can't afford paper plates, but I can help clean up, or you know what I'm saying? So I could just bring the music or something. So just whatever you bring is cool, and let's just keep it up, because that's what get me going. Yeah, I came in on Friday, and I wanted to make sure that the team was in the best possible trade before the market closed Friday, because this market is up to some things, man. And like I said, I was looking for at least a $8 to $10 move tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen overnight. We'll see how the futures open and how the Asian futures market open. You can't really use that to take that, but you got to take that with a grain of salt, because the U.S. is totally different, you know. But yeah, but we'll see how things play out tomorrow. I will be there to guide you guys through the whole life cycle of that particular trade. So, and to see what else we got. Powell speaking tomorrow. I'll get to that shortly. They sending him out there tomorrow morning, and he has to say something now. And so, yeah, it's a lot going on. So yeah, just looking forward to see how things play out, and yeah, just keep it coming, man. I got a lot of things in store for the team. I just want to, let's just, we'll take it day by day.
Before you go, I have to shout out my teacher. He's definitely one of the best. He's one of the best kept secrets. Anybody who's not in our community, like, he's different. He shows us, everybody has their way of teaching. The way that I've been taught and the way that we've been taught, he's given us the fundamentals to look at the market from a different standpoint. Like, we have different strategies. Of course, everybody has a different strategy, but I just feel his teaching overall is just top notch. And I've made a lot of money because of that. And I just want to shout you out, because, teachers.
Well, KK, hold on. Let me just cut in and say, like, this is why people think you be marketing, because you get on here and you say stuff like this and you post your wins and you do all of this stuff. I want to say this. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. But I just want to just say that one thing I don't like, and I never ever been a type of person to appreciate, is flattery. You know what I mean? So I know when someone's saying something because it's genuine, and what I do, and I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't saying this is not about you, KK. I'm just putting this out there. I don't need that. I'm the one thing I do. I give people the real. If someone does something great, I'll let you know. If I feel like you can be better, I'm going to let you know, because the last thing I want is for you to go somewhere else or ever run into one of my mentors, like from T-Row or something like that, and you tell them that you were taught under me, and they say, damn, they got you out here like that, or they didn't teach you that. Or you say, like, I got a black belt, I was taught by a master such and such, and they're like, damn, he didn't teach you that. That just look bad. So I don't care if you like me, as long as you learn what you need to learn here. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to make you money. And I try to put my best foot forth every time. And so I don't need to be flattered or anything like that. Just show up, do what you got to do. If you got something good. Now, if our team, if we put what I do like to see, though, because sometimes I like to share that, the only marketing I like to do is profits, so if we have a big team win, you can be shy, you can be whatever. You can throw some emojis on that, on our big team wins and stuff like that. You can come out the cut for that, and I like to see those type of things, because, You know, that's we should be celebrating as a team. Like I'll give y'all one last thing about this. Friday, those be the perfect Fridays. Those cool rainy Fridays, right? And those are the perfect Fridays that make a lot of money. I like to talk about stocks and Fox price action and stuff like that, and do that with a team. That's what I like to do. But you know, we don't always be like a team, and it's cool. Everybody got lives, busy, and you know, doing different things. But you know, so I took a few trades on Friday. You know, just quick trades and stuff like that. You already knew I was in SanDisk. I told y'all that. And just a few other things. But the thing is, like I said, I would like to trade more, you know, as a team. I would like to do more things with the team so we could kind of just, you know, it brings more things out. You know, for people who are in music or anything, you go in the studio or whatever, and you got your friends in there, you bouncing ideas and stuff like that, or you talking about, or sometimes I'll just be talking to KK or whoever, and ideas just start coming out of that communication about the market, you know. So us just having those types of conversations, it's all we're going to do is make more money. I just feel like we can make a lot more money if we were a team. So like being able to celebrate wins together as a team, being triumphant as a team, losing together as a team. Like I wanted to talk about this too. So we had this trade on Wednesday. It was an MU trade. The MU trade. I knew about that. The ARM CEO was going to do. He was going to speak about some new plans and something about a new chip or something that they were working on. And he was going to talk about that Wednesday after the close. I was already privy to that information. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put the team. I was talking to a few of my traders about it. I said, I should put the team in ARM. But the IV on ARM was astronomical. And I said, you know what? If what he talks about isn't as great as they predicted to be, then ARM is going to be flat, or it's going to probably move a little bit, and the contract's going to get clapped. So I'm going to choose MU instead, because, you know, I knew that it would push a move in MU. We got an MU right before the close, and MU was up like $8 like 10-15 minutes after the close, because the ARM CEO came out. ARM was up like $15. And so overnight, pre-market the next morning, MU dropped some news that they were doing a share offering. You know, the buybacks are bullish, the offerings are where they dilute the share, and the stock just plummeted. So I came in pre-market before the market opened, set the team expectations like, look, this contract is probably going to be burnt to a crisp by the time the market opens. So don't expect anything from it. Like, I'm just letting y'all know now, it's a dead mission. It's done. You know, the trade was down like 76% at market open. So there was some recourse, like $65, but and I told the team, just go ahead and just sell it, take it, whatever it is, because I was setting the expectation that they weren't going to get anything from it, because it's just something that ended up happening. You can't predict stuff like that. But so it's just like whether it's a win, loss, or whatever, as a team, I just feel like we can do these things, and whenever we take a loss, my goal is just to get that money back, even if, of course, we were already up on the week and stuff like that. But I just feel like, you know, I want to get the money back from that last trade and stuff like that. But yeah, it's so many opportunities out here, and but trading is 90% psychological. We gotta get what I saw on Thursday with that the team did. I'm not saying you got to do that every week, every day, and stuff like that, but we can make so much more money. Just imagine if you got a 9 to 5, right? You signed up to do a job, whether it's like to greet patients, push carts, run a data center, whatever the situation is, whatever you do for a living. You know what I'm saying? They pay you to do that and to make a lot of money. And if all we got to do is be a team to make a lot more money, you know what I mean? I don't see why we can't do that, you know, and bounce some ideas and, celebrate as a team sometimes, and that, because like I said, that those for me, that's priceless. Those feelings are priceless, knowing that you're helping people make money, and also doing it as together. Like I said, that feeling that KK said she felt, that's a feeling that you can't buy. It's a priceless feeling. And so so sometimes I just say, yeah, I'm off today, let me go ahead and it was so warm, I'm like, I'm gonna hit these tennis courts. But if we were more of a team, sometimes I don't care how warm it is outside, man, I would have chose the team over the courts. You know what I mean? I'll always choose the team if it's a team, because otherwise it's like, let me go ahead and let me put the team in this trade, and the best trade that I possibly can find, and get them some money, and then move on. You know what I'm saying? But that's just more like a checking boxes thing. So, but we got earnings season about to start over soon. There's just so much coming up, and I just want to do it as a team, because to me, the Discord for the last 6 years, Discord has been synonymous with getting the team money. Like it's symbolic with me firing my job and coming here to do this, I don't spend too much time in there because it don't feel that way. But this ain't about, this ain't what the session is about. But I'm just saying that, seeing that Thursday, what y'all can do as a team, and y'all can do that when I'm not around too. Like we're gonna cover several charts today. We got ideas. Like I said, it's a bunch of economic events that's coming up. We got retail sales data. Somehow they're releasing that big jobs report, and I don't know if the market's closed on Friday. They look like they're still releasing the jobs report on Friday. So we got a lot to kind of prep for, and then Powell coming out tomorrow morning after Power Hour. So it's a lot to prep for. Nike earnings this week. It's just so much going on, and so we gotta put more into this too, that we put into other things, because I feel like we can make. Well, I know for sure I've never made, I left a 6-figure job. I've never made as much money as I make in this community, as I've made trading. And and I know a lot of people in this community who can say the same thing. So just we can do a lot better, man. And let's just go ahead and take this momentum, which y'all did last week. Like I said, it had nothing to do with me. It was all y'all. What y'all did on Thursday, man, take that momentum into next week. We got a short week. We can do that, But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. Go ahead and move on to these charts. And yeah, but no, I like that. I like to see that. Since we were already on Meta, let's start there. Let's start there. Never a bad idea to start with Meta. Sheesh, now look at this. So I posted this chart several weeks ago. Actually, it was like the week before, 2 weeks before, when Meta first broke out. It was a bear flag here. I had on I had it marked on another chart. It's on last week's meeting as well. And when price broke out of here and closed outside of this breakout, I made sure that everybody was on notice on this. But that doesn't mean it's going to go straight down. This is a weekly chart, so each candle represents 1 week of price action. Look where Meta is now on the weekly, and it was important to zoom out. And I'm actually going to zoom out a little further, because this is the last before the next month. This is the last candle before we see the monthly candle. Now look where price is. Hey guys, could you mute your lines unless you have something to say, because I could hear. But yeah, look, so Meta came down here, broke this level. I thought price was going to stop up in this area. I mean, obviously still can bounce here. We still can bounce here in this area. There's just a lot going on up in here. Let me just take one of these. So yeah, we still can get some price, so a bounce here. This is a nice area, but we'll just have to see what happens. Again, this is a monthly chart, and that's how the weekly finished. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to the daily. Again, we had a lot going on, and I feel like the way the market, now hear me out here, the way the market flushed Friday into the close, Meta should have dropped harder down there. I felt like Meta could have easily gone a lot further, and it didn't. doesn't mean it's not going to go more, but I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about that. Now, here's another gap fill on the daily chart for Meta up in here. So again, we'll keep an eye on what happens. And I'm just gonna mark another level up while I'm at it. But yeah, I just feel like we can it can make a nice move down, you know, and that gap fill kind of is around near where 500 is. But we'll just see what Meta does. Now, for a trade idea, if Meta loses this loses 520, my next target on Meta would be 507.23, and then we got 500 would be the next target on that if it was to lose there. Now pay attention to this area though, because Meta could just bounce off this area, and then my first target on this would be that 525.72, and then we got 531 and so on. But if you just want to wait until you get an actual signal on Meta, you can wait until it clears over 543.60. So over 543.60, my first target on that would be that small gap fill area, which would be 547.54, and then we got 555.85 and so on. So I would keep an eye on Meta for this week. I believe it's going to continue to make a big move. So we'll just see we'll see what happens this upcoming week. APP. We got APP. APP came down last week, and it looked like it still has more room down to go for APP at this moment. Show y'all the weekly chart on this one. It cleans it up a lot, right? When you look at the weekly, and since the monthly's closing, okay, we got this. Still 2 up on the month, but it's not enforced. No wick on that at all. Well, small wick. All right, so for APP, if we lose 380.38, my first target on this would be 376.94, and then we got 366.89, and then we have 359, which is likely where it will probably bounce if it does continue down that far. Now over 400, my first target on this. Yeah, over 400, my first target on this would be 410.51, and then we got 419.63, and there's a gap fill. Would be in the gap fill at that point. But yeah, just keep APP on watch. We got Tesla here also. So Tesla went up, hit that the 200 EMA, well, 200 moving average, flushed down from there, and it's been on a terribly nice 222 continuation here after it broke out of this bear flag, and price just came down. So it looked like let me go out here to the weekly, and then here's the monthly chart here on Tesla. So you can see there is a level there, but it looked like it could still go down a lot further from here. If we lose this area here, we still got some room down. And again, this is a weekly chart I'm on. I'm just showing y'all the weekly for now. Go back to the daily. So here for Tesla, if we lose this 359.47, first target on this would be 353.72. We got 347.70. Now, if we were to reclaim, I'm gonna just say back over 370. Over 370, there's a small gap fill here at 372. And then we have 372.11. Then we have 374.42. Then 379.54, and so on to the upside. But we'll just see exactly what happens with Tesla at this point, because price could continue to drop from here since it did not hold. Now just zooming in a little bit so you can see exactly what happened and how prices continued to go down. Again, some of it was because the stock was selling off for different reasons, and a lot of it was because of the overall market sentiment being bearish too for all of that. Now Meta had some actual bad news to help push that one down as well. All right, SanDisk. I like this chart though. I really do like this chart. On Friday, I traded it up. I swung, but I traded played the calls up, and then when it got rejected, I played puts down, and yeah, but it's still holding this. So look at the trend on this, right? The trend is still, and it's still an uptrend, and it's holding the 50-day EMA. That's this green line right here. So price has been holding that, and it's just hanging on around here at the support as well. So for SanDisk again, a lot of the storage, the data storage, and those type of stocks, they've been coming down. They've been getting hit. So it's a lot been going on with the sector as a whole, right? So, but I still like the stock. Again, they had a good earnings too. This stock hit all-time highs after the print. Another one that just kept going up. But yeah, so if you're looking for a trade, again, if it still holds this level, we should be able to bounce here. This is a nice setup on this. We had a tweezer bottom on this stock, and on this one, we had a tweezer top here, and it's been pretty much it's been holding up at these levels. So we'll just see what happens. I'll say for calls, if it was to clear 638.52, then my first target on this would be 661.25. Now if we were to lose 599.37, then my first target on this would be 581.44, and then below there we have 543. I'm sorry. Yeah, I said 581.44, and then my next target on that would be 543.93. Now this stock makes a lot of big moves, but it's very expensive also, just like APP. So just be very careful when trying to play this. It's for just a tip, but it's easier to play stocks like this later in the week. But yeah, something I wanted to put on the radar. Goldman Sachs. I like where Goldman Sachs finished here, still holding. It still managed to hold the 200 moving average, but the stock is not out of the woods yet. Still playing around in this area here. If you look at the weekly chart, and then here's the monthly, since we're closing on a monthly soon. But yeah, so trade idea wise, I like how it's holding. But if it was to lose this, I'll say if it loses 797, if it loses 797, my first target on this would be 793.64. Then we have 785.10, and then 780.50. Now, if we were to clear 817.10, my first target on this would be the gap fill area. I think it would go straight to the gap fill area here, which would be at 822.64, and then we have 833.90. So keep Goldman Sachs on watch. Here's Walmart here. Nice bull flag setting up here on Walmart. Again, we don't know what the market is going to do. We'll just wait and see what happens, right? But I like this on Walmart. And we talked about this before, how it's been trading in the range, broke out, retested, and lost it back down here. And Walmart's been hitting all-time highs, and we got to pull back, which pullbacks are good on some of these stocks. I like a nice pullback before continuation, if that's where we're going, right? And just marking a few levels on here because that's what we do. But yeah, so Walmart, I like this. It managed to reclaim, or it's been holding the 50. Once it got back over it, it's been holding that support right here. I'll say over 124.27. My first target on this would be 126.54. Now, if we were to lose 121.82, then my first target on this, well, I'll just say, yeah, if we were to lose that 121.82, my first target would be 121.29. And if it was to close under there again, I would be back under the 200, under the 50-day moving average again, the 50-day EMA. and we can likely make a move back down to. Now it's a possibility of stop on the way, but I feel like if we lose there, we'll be headed back to the bottom of this trend. The downtrend again, because again, yeah, this is a flag or wedge, but it's been riding it's been riding this channel and making its way down. So my target on this would be 118.30 as opposed to the bottom of the channel, and we just play it down like that. Now it could get stopped out in between there, but that would be my target on that for Walmart. Hit in there. QQQ. Interesting setup on QQQ. Again, we were talking about this last week. We went up, and I told you how it closed under the 200-day moving average for the first time since last May, and it hadn't been able to reclaim it. Went up, rejected it a few times, hit support, and then we got that flush down with a continuation after the reversal, and with strong momentum to the downside and the volume to support the move. QQQ under 561.57. My next target on this would be 559.84. Then we have 556.09. Now, for some reason, if somehow it managed to bounce and reclaim these levels again, I would still be careful with it. You can trade it intraday and look for setups on lower time frames, but for a real move, wait for it to clear for the upside. Wait for it to clear 571.02, and then we can look for this gap fill right here, which would be the target would be 573.79, and then we have 576.67, and then 580.38. Okay, IWM. So IWM still managing to hold its the 200 EMA, which is good because when the market is really in turmoil, the first stocks to go are the small caps, because they don't have the market cap, and a lot of times you're looking for a diamond in the rough or something when you're buying the small caps. You got extra money, you're looking for something that you could build off of or whatever, and that's what typically happens. And the volume is it was pretty high on Friday, higher than Thursday, highest in the last 4 days, and to the downside. So we will keep an eye on it. I'll say under 242.41. Then the first target on this, I'll say 240.99, and then we have 240.09 as our first targets on there. Now, if we somehow manage to get back over 246.74, then we can possibly fill this gap here at 247.44, and then we have 248.38. And you see it's been playing between the 50 and the 200, the 50 EMA and the 200 moving average. We're looking to see if we get that depth cross on that also. So we'll be keeping it on watch. So it's a lot going on. It's a lot of things coming up. Now, I will say, let me just going to post this one ETF really quickly. So XLE has been going up. It's been vertical. Just go. XLE is the sector that tracks the ETF that tracks the energy sector. The top holding in this is ExxonMobil, and then you got CXV, and all the Chevron, and a lot of other oil stocks, energy stocks. So this thing is at all-time highs, and of course it could possibly go higher, but just wanted to put this on your radar. It's cheaper and it's safer for the trade the ETF as opposed to individual stocks. It doesn't move as quickly as the individual stocks, but just putting it on your radar to kind of keep an eye on this is personally you saw on how things were looking on Friday and how things had a continuation. I don't think that gas and oil gets any cheaper anytime soon. Like even if we were to figure out this whole situation with the Strait and getting through there, a lot of the facilities that already been bombed by the United States. So it would still be months before they get those repaired, and so it probably be 6 months before we get like any real like oil coming through there, like new stuff coming through there to us. From what I understand, the last shipment went to Asia or whatever, so it's like a long time. I think so as far, and I'm talking about this in terms of stabilization of the prices. So even if things get resolved right away, it'll be a few months, several months before prices will be under control. So this could continue to go up, but you always get pullbacks before things go up higher and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, keep an eye on it, because if we over that 62.79, we could easily make higher highs and hit a few levels that we haven't hit before. So because it's been hitting new all-time highs, say over that 62.79, then look for a move to 64. And but yeah, just keep it on watch. Again, it moves a lot slower because it's an ETF, and it's more than one stock in there. But I mean, if we're able to get back under 61.26, then look for a move down to 60.55, and this thing probably come down for a while. So there are different ways you can play something like this. That's because if you look at this, I'll zoom out even further just quickly. Oil's been going up for a while. This is a monthly chart. Look at this. This was December. This is December right here. So when we finally broke up, but we already knew it was stuff. It was tensions were going, but this was January, and things just been it's been vertical since it broke out, because you look how long it's been consolidating in this move and consolidation. It's been playing in this range for a while. This is months, so this is March of 2024. It's been playing in this range, so of course a breakout going to send it higher, and this is a monthly chart, and it took off, and now of course we got a catalyst, and this was the last big breakout that it had in 2021. Of course, we had a catalyst. Remember, that was when the whole they've been battling that long, the whole Russia and Ukraine situation. But yeah, so a lot's been going on, and so just keep an eye on it. Now, just really quickly, just to show y'all, Exxon looks similar. Look how Exxon look very similar to that. But it has bigger moves because it's an actual stock as opposed to that ETF. So you could watch either of them. But yeah, just wanted to put that on your radar. Now let me just go ahead and get over here to our economic data for this week. All right. So like I said, we got Powell speaking tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. right after Powell hour. So like I said, they only send Powell out there for one or two reasons: to take the market up or drag it down. So they're sending them out there, and so we'll see what happens. They're sent Williams out there tomorrow at 4 p.m. So that's after the close. They sending Goolsby out there Tuesday at noon. Watch out for Goolsby. Goolsby be saying some weird stuff sometimes too that can kind of move the market and catch you off guard, and it's happening at noon. So watch out for Goolsby. We got Barr coming out there Tuesday at afternoon power hour. Then Bowman also Tuesday at 5:10 p.m. That's after the close, and Musalam Wednesday at 9:05. Economic data. So JOLTS data Tuesday. We got consumer confidence Tuesday. We got ADP non-farm payrolls Wednesday. We got retail sales data Wednesday. I'll be watching out for that. ISM manufacturing PMI, jobless claims. But then they're releasing the jobs report, the big jobs report on Friday. Now the market will be closed for Good Friday.